somewhere in the United States, 3 nuclear weapons are about to detonate. There are only 2 days to find them, and only one man knows where they are. To FBI agent Brody's surprise, the terrorist is already in their hands, and a mysterious interrogator named H is charged with getting the crucial information by all means necessary. As they start to run out of time, the power struggle between the 2 agents and the terrorist turns deadly. Torture porn turns political in Unthinkable from 2010, a product of rare cinematic alchemy that results in pure, irresponsible exploitation, where the talent is there and so were their commitment, but the blinders went way down concerning the absurdity of the project itself, the premise of a Steven Seagal film, the aesthetics of a Peter Greengrass film, and the dialogue of corporate news media. You want to be a half-serious film, little one? You're going to get a half-serious critique then. The premise is less War on Terror meets Saw on Terror, as the majority of the scenes revolve around amputation and psychological abuse. So intense, it jumps the tonal bell curve entirely and leaps into the realm of pure psychotronia, and at times, hilarity. The cast must have been cracking their asses up during takes, as I imagine the casts of the Saw films did also. Maybe during the unquote theatres first quarter, 2003-2005, this film could have had the intended effect, but of course that would have taken some serious balls and the film would have never gotten the green light. And hell yes, I do see this film being made in the early 2000s. In fact, I see it being made in the mid-70s. Perhaps Marathon Man was in mind, but unfortunately I feel that's given Unthinkable way too much benefit of the doubt. Regarding its place amongst the canon of films concerning enhanced interrogation tactics, this sits at a peculiar position of looking down at Taxi to the Dark Side from a hostile window, though I'm certain this film doesn't take a side, and I'm even more confident the screenplay had nothing radical to say. Instead, it just possesses radical methods to get out what was never there. The result? Half-baked commentary that is more melodrama than morality play. Unthinkable is a well-made exploitation film, but it is still an exploitation film. Take this film with a grain of salt and a healthy dose of ironic detachment, and you might learn about the media narratives floating around during the late 2000s regarding the War on Terror, and more so, to the film's credit, the logical conclusion to those sensationalist diatribes. 2 Turkish anti-terrorist agents are sent to New York City on a mission to find and bring back the dangerous Islamic leader codenamed Dajjal, believed to be hiding in there. 5 Minarets in New York is first and foremost a Turkish buddy cop film with a touch of the Bollywood about it. It also features commentary upon Islamic extremism, which impresses in some areas and becomes ponderous in others. It's nice to see a blockbuster action film that tries to portray Islamic fundamentalism in a nuanced fashion, as there are not too many examples of those. However, it is too long, and its balance of action and drama never reaches a sweet spot. The action we do get is impressive for a Turkish film, though portrayals of their police have that same squeaky clean Starship Troopers sequel feel that action movies from China do, which unfortunately goes some way to delegitimize the film's message about peace and tolerance. Don't know if this film's idea of a peaceful world involves Kurds, but the fact I have to ask is bad enough. There are some portrayals of police brutality, but I think that's more a cop film trope than any kind of statement. Nevertheless, whilst I remain suspicious, the commentary is engaging, and I found the ending to be surprisingly powerful. The cop film side of Minarets is more of a bad boys caricature than anything else. I could see this film being a very tedious experience with their absence, and the opening sequence was well directed and shot the viewer right into the experience. Impressive for Turkey. Impressive for direct-to-DVD action in general. Acting was okay, if broad throughout. It's one of those films where the sum of its parts make the whole, and the good direction, lighting and editing come together to make fine opera. Not much else I can say about the 2-hour Minarets in New York, which itself probably speaks to some detriment of the film. Danny Glover's scenes were particularly weak, and added nothing. Overall though, Minarets is a fine combination of action blockbuster and Islamic propaganda. I wouldn't use it as a reference in any war on terror thesis, but if there is any chance this description appeals to you, then I would recommend seeking this one out. A young Pakistani man is chasing corporate success on Wall Street. He finds himself embroiled in a conflict between his American dream, a hostage crisis, and the enduring call of his family's homeland. The Reluctant Fundamentalist has a riveting story and is finely acted, which has a particularly great central performance by Riz Ahmed. His character goes from being a downsizing financial analyst to a committed and influential university professor in a journey of self-discovery that might have been unbearably indie if it was not for the unique and engaging perspective on the war on terror that it provides. Moments such as when the film compares American fundamentalism with Islamic fundamentalism are sublimely poetic, and The Reluctant Fundamentalist has several great moments such as this, bolstered by its great cast and rock-solid narrative. Never did I feel confused about events or did not understand where the characters were coming from. The 2-hour running time is felt the hardest in the first act, but once 9/11 occurs, the trajectory of the story is sadly predictable, but no less enthralling. This film is an atmospheric and mature drama that commands your attention with the questions it raises and the measured and subtle ways in which it delivers them. It is one of the best 9/11 dramas I have ever seen. It's one of the best films I've seen, for obviously it came from the high street, and it comes highly recommended from me. Right, conclusion time. Unthinkable is an outrageous tabloid thriller that is in equal parts disturbing, hilarious, and weirdly hysterical. 5 Minarets in New York is an overly long Turkish buddy cop thriller that has some nice things to say about Muslims, and The Reluctant Fundamentalist is a superb drama that is simply filled with good writing, acting, and direction. Goodbye.